Hi, I'm Vince Chimo. I'm the creator of the DataLooper pedal, and in this video, I'm going to go through all the technical operation so you have a good idea of exactly how this pedal works. First, I'm going to show you how to use the DataLooper pedal in a traditional live looping setup. The DataLooper links with 3 tracks in Ableton. I have the first 2 tracks linked to my guitar and the third track linked to my vocal. If you look at the Ableton session, you'll see DL #1 guitar, DL #2 guitar, and DL #3 vocal. The DL hashtag followed by the number is what allows the DataLooper software to know that this is a track that should be linked to the pedal. If we look at one of these tracks, we'll see an instance of the Ableton Looper plugin, which comes included in all versions of Ableton Live. The Looper plugin has a number of settings and parameters which you can read about in the Ableton manual, but I like to make sure that it's set to record X bars and then play back instead of overdub, which is the default. I also like to make sure tempo control is set to set and follow song tempo. This allows any of my loops to calculate a new tempo if it's the first loop created. The final important setting is quantization, which I usually have to global. This parameter controls how closely linked the loop start and stop times are to the project grid. In other words, if I have my quantization set to none, the loops will start and stop independent of the project tempo, which is great for a single looper, but impossible to synchronize with. On the flip side, if you have your quantization set to 1 bar, the loops will start and stop on the downbeat of a measure. I have found that for me, setting the quantize to a quarter note offers the best balance between flexibility and ease of synchronization. So in most live looping situations, you're not going to want to use a metronome, and it's important that you understand the concept of the transport. Now when the transport is stopped, which is indicated by all the LEDs on the DataLooper just staying a clear color and not blinking, the first loop that you record will auto-calculate the tempo, which everything else will synchronize to. Let me show you how that works. Okay, so now that we've got our first loop, we can see that the transport is running. This is indicated by the LEDs on the DataLooper blinking in time with the project clock. You can also see that on the Ableton session by the play button illuminated green and the transport numbers running. If we turned on the metronome, you would hear it blinking in time with the project metronome. So what this means is our clock is running and all the loops that we record after this will synchronize to this tempo. How tightly they synchronize is determined by the quantize setting. If we have it on 1 bar, everything will be quantized to a single bar, which means that if I hit record somewhere in the middle of a bar, it'll wait until that bar has ended and it's on the downbeat of the next measure to actually start recording. Let me show you how that works. I'm going to turn on the metronome for the demonstration. So that was the downbeat. One more downbeat, and I'm going to hit the button. So I hit the button before the downbeat, but it didn't actually start recording until the downbeat of that measure. Now we have 2 totally synchronized loops, and they can be different lengths. In addition, I can overdub unlimited times on each of these 3 tracks. So let's say I want to overdub on that first track. I just hit the record button one more time. And when I'm done, I just hit the record button again. My stop and undo are also available on each of the 3 tracks. If I hit stop, it'll wait until the next downbeat. Same with the start again. And I can undo, which happens right away. Undo also functions as a redo. I'm going to stop both of these loops now. To clear the loops, when you're done, all you do is hold the stop button for 1 second, and the LED will turn back to white, indicating that the loop slot is clear. The last buttons on the rightmost column of the DataLooper are the master controls, which control the transport and all the tracks of loops. So let's say I've got these 3 loops running. Now if I want to do a quick mute, I hit the topmost button, which will keep the loops playing and running, but allow me to mute things. This is great for hip-hop or something where you want a quick dropout. Alternatively, I can keep the transport running and just stop the loops by pressing the middle button. Now this means any backing tracks or anything else playing through Ableton will continue, but the loops will stop. It also means that when I want to start the loops again, it will be quantized to whatever the project tempo is. So let me start that again. And it's going to wait. And then let's say I want to just totally stop the transport. I can hit the clear button once, and the loops and the transport will stop, meaning that any other backing tracks or anything playing in Ableton will also stop. Now this is great if you just want to have a break and you don't know how long you want that break, or you're not listening to a metronome. It also is nice because when you start the loop again, it'll start right away. So let's say I want to start that drum beat. As soon as I hit it, it'll start. And then the rest of the loops will be quantized. So when I'm done, I can just hold the clear button for 1 second and it'll just wipe everything. So that gives me a totally new tempo to start from scratch from. And it's new, it's flashy, it's great, it's new. It's flashy, it's great, it's new. There you go. So the other way to use the DataLooper pedal is with the session control mode. Now this is great if you're trying to record a lot of clips really quickly to get songwriting ideas and you use the Ableton session view. Well, let's take a look at the Ableton project, and you'll notice it's pretty similar to the traditional loop mode, but with some subtle differences. The first thing to note is that the track names, rather than having a DL hashtag and a number, have CL hashtag and a number. CL stands for Clip Looper, and it helps the software automatically link up with these tracks and find clip slots. So now, when I use the pedal and I hit record, it'll find an available clip slot and automatically start recording in that clip slot rather than a looper instance. Let me show you how that works on an audio track. We're going to turn the metronome on for this demonstration because the clip system is pretty much intrinsically linked to the project tempo. So now I've got a loop that I like, and it's set up in a clip. And if I want to record a new clip, all I have to do is press the undo button and record, and it'll go in. And I can keep doing that. And now if you look at my session, I just made 3 different clips which I can DJ back and forth. And I can also stop them from the pedal. Let me show you how this works with MIDI. It's slightly different. So Ableton clips, if they're audio, you can't record overdubs on top of that audio clip. You can record automation, but that's about it. Whereas MIDI, you can overdub MIDI notes, but you have to use the session record button, which can be a little bit of a hassle to deal with. So I designed the session control mode to where you can easily overdub MIDI onto clips without really thinking about it. So let me show you how that works. So now you'll see I've got a MIDI clip running in the second track, and I want to overdub. And now if we look at the MIDI clip, you'll see we have the MIDI data with the overdub. Now if I want to make a new clip, all I have to do is hold stop for 1 second, and it'll jump to a new open clip slot. So I didn't really like that clip, and I'm still recording. If I want to, while I'm recording, I can press stop, and it'll clear the last thing that was just done, so I have another chance to start again. And now I've got another MIDI clip. So one last thing I want to show you guys. While you're in the session control mode, all the master controls still work. So let's say we've got this clip playing, and we want to stop all the clips. We just press that middle button, and it'll continue to run, but stop it. Let's start it again. And then we can also mute all the clips, or stop the transport. And I think that pretty much covers the pedal. So thank you guys for watching. You made it all the way through to the end. Big thumbs up. I hope you enjoy this thing. And if you have any comments or feedback, feel free to get in touch.